welcome back to another video right here on the channel. I'm your host, Big Dan, and today we are at none greater than the boat ramp. I'm going to teach you guys how to launch and retrieve your boat solo. A lot of people have been posting on the channel, hey, can you make a how-to video on this, that, or the other? This is a common question that's been brought up quite a bit here on the channel. It's how to actually get your boat into the water, how to actually get it back on the trailer. And although it can seem frustrating and it can trigger a little bit of anxiety and anxiousness, it's not all that hard. Today, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and you'll be doing it like a pro this summer. Come on. All right, first step, you wanna make sure your safety chain is on. You wanna make sure your strap is still on. The biggest thing out of all of this is we wanna make sure that our plug is in. Oftentimes people leave their drain plugs out. I'm guilty of it myself. I almost sunk a bass boat to the river floor. Drain plug is in. I almost sunk a bass boat to the river floor. So our drain plug is number one. Want to make sure your drain plug's in. Now, today's not a very busy day, but you want to be in the proper staging area. You don't want to stop right here blocking 2, 3, 4 lanes. You want to be in the proper staging area. Get all your batteries, make sure your motors are trimmed up. You can turn your battery switches on. That way it's going to make it pretty easy when we get this thing into the water, and we won't be taking up a bunch of time or space while people are coming in and out. After all, you are doing this solo, so it is going to take a little bit longer than if you had a crew. So we're just going to back in here, and if you notice, I've got my seat belt off, I've got my windows down, and I want to be as close to the dock as possible. So it's just going to get me on center here. I'm about 10 feet off now that I can actually see where I'm at. Okay, I'll go ahead and start drifting towards the dock here. And as you can notice, I've got my window down, seat belt off. That way if something happens, if I lose my brakes, if I lose my transmission, if something freak accident happens, there's a good chance that I can still get out of the vehicle safely and not be trapped inside the vehicle. I've seen some pretty crazy things happen. But again, I want to be as close to the dock as I can actually get without hitting. I just want to be able to step right on. And that looks like I'm pretty good right there. Probably about 2 feet off. And I'm just going to back down until the stern begins to float just a little bit. It's hard for me to see my fenders. You see the stern starting to float just a little bit. All right, now I put it in park. My foot is still on the brake. This is very important. Put your emergency brake on, then you can let off the brake. Transmissions can go out like that, and it's not fun. All right, so we got the boat in the water. The stern is floating just a little bit. Bow still in the bow stop. Safety cable still on. Winch strap still on. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the safety cable, and then I'm gonna take my winch here and I'm gonna go ahead and uncrank this. Sometimes it'll roll back, sometimes it won't. If you got a smaller boat, it may. If you go too deep, it's gonna absolutely have pressure on it. It's gonna try to get away from you. So some guys can put it in forward just slightly, and that'll keep the bow up into the bow stop and add pressure, so it's not hard to unhook your strap. But either way, you don't want to lose the boat when you unhook it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get down in the boat. We'll trim down our motors. So you just a little, oh. I hope you're still recording. Ooh, I think I just broke my leg.
I know that hurt.
Holy f. Oh, you can just keep it recording.
Let me see.
I think I broke my fucking leg. Oh, I think I broke my leg, but we're gonna finish the video. Holy shit. Oh no, you have no idea I'm 320 pounds. I just free falled onto the damn rub rail.
Look at it.
I literally think I broke my leg. All right, so we're gonna trim down. We're trimmed down. Port motor. I'm in so much pain right now. We're gonna go ahead and get her in reverse. And typically I would have my dock lines out, but that right there threw me completely off. I would have all my dock lines off, bow and stern already tied off to either cleat on the inside. And then depending on how we're docking on pilings or tying off the cleats, I'll just show you this and you can come up on me if you'd like. Dude, my leg is cold. I like affected the nerves in it or something. It's unreal. It hurts. The issue was I had sand. I stepped in that sand down there when I was putting the taking the safety chain and the winch off, and that was it for me. Little sand will ruin your freaking party real quick. Drop a comment below, guys. Smash a subscribe for me since I just smashed my freaking shin.
And on the OW, it's got sand everywhere.
The what?
Sand everywhere on it.
From where I flew up onto it. All right, good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just rinse my feet off so I don't have any more sand on them. And honestly, I'm afraid to tie this off to the dock because I'm in so much pain right now. I don't want to have to step back in the boat and destroy myself. Look at that. Bam, bam. Can't even feel that. I don't know what happened there. It hurt a little bit, but I can't even feel it because my toes are numb right now. So, needless to say, you can step right on and right off the boat. You're right here at the dock. Some tie up, some don't. Well, I'm scared to step on there now. We might have to go for a swim. I'm just playing with fire over here. Are we still shooting?
Yes.
Oh, what a good day. So the boat is actually drifting towards the dock because of the wind. That's a good thing. If you are by yourself and you got to get off of the dock, it's like, how are we going to get off of the dock now? What I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and I got her in neutral. If you got twin engines, especially, you can steer with both throttles. Port side's going in forward, starboard in reverse. That's gonna suck the transom in and push the bow out. Then we're just gonna bump one in gear, both in gear, and we're just pulling right away from the dock. You don't have to swing your tail in all the way around and smash your stern into the dock and be slamming motors into everything. All that is not even necessary. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and spin this thing around. We're a little shallow in here, so we're gonna watch our trim. And again, we're gonna use both motors to turn this thing around. And we're pretty much just turning it in place. And that's a good thing when you have twins. It's a lot of people are kind of concerned when they move up to a larger boat. It's actually a lot easier to control. So now the biggest thing is when you're coming back on the trailer, neutral is your friend. So if you're making any adjustments, like I'm turning to starboard now, and if I want to go to starboard, then I'll bumper in gear. I'm gonna turn to port, and then I'm gonna bumper in gear. I'll bumper in gear one time, I'll go right back to neutral. Now I'm a little cockeyed right here. This is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure my motors are straight. Port side goes in reverse. Starboard's gonna go in forward, but I'm gonna wait till I get her a little bit centered. And if you wanna back off so they can see the trailer and everything, Madeline. All right, we got them both in forward. Watching the port side. Port side's in reverse. Port sides in forward. Starboard in reverse, starboard in forward, ports in neutral. And we're gonna give it some throttle and we're gonna go right into our bow stop until I feel it. Now I don't wanna put too much pressure on the ramp. A lot of people are like anti-power load, and if you are, that's okay. It's not for everybody. When you're power loading, you do have an increased chance of blowing out the ramp. Sand gets pushed out from under the ramp. You're left with like this shelf, this big slab. I mean, you can see it's 12 inches thick, so the chances of it breaking are not likely. But when you have a big trailer or big boat that backs down, water's low, and you've done flushed all that sand out from under it, you can have some serious issues. You can destroy a ramp pretty easily, especially with 600, 900, 1200 horsepower, whatever you're pushing on your larger vessel. So power loading can be bad for the ramp. So I don't injure myself again. That was just ridiculous. I'm pretty upset about all that. I'm in a lot of pain right now. But we're gonna go ahead and step off of the boat. The boat's not going anywhere. And I know I get on people a lot, like, oh man, he left it in gear. When you leave it in gear and you got her hammered down, it's just, whoa. That's not what that is. You see a little bit of prop wash coming out the back, a little bit of propulsion. That's just keeping us in the bow stop. So I can actually get my winch strap on. And I could have pulled up just a little bit more, and I may. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up just a little bit more. And so a lot of guys are doing this thing where they're trimming up when they get near the dock or near the trailer, and they have absolute no control. You've got to have that rudder down in the water, okay? It's got to be down in the water. Then when you're giving it any kind of propulsion, you have control over it. When you're trimmed all the way up, you don't have control. People are like, well, I'm trying to get the bow up on my trailer so I can ride up on the trailer easier. That's fine, I understand all that, but whenever you're trying to line up, you got to have that baby buried. It's got to be all the way down in the water for maximum control. So they're trimmed down right now. Now what I will do to get it up into the bow stop to where I can actually winch it down properly, I will begin to trim it up now. I'm gonna make sure my motors are straight. They are. I'm trimming up, and basically what this is gonna do, it's gonna push the stern down and lift the bow up, and it's gonna give me an extra little bit of lift to get into the bow stop so I can winch it up real tight. Here we go. All right, I'm in there. Now I'm gonna back off to where I'm maintaining pressure. You don't wanna go too much or you're gonna slide back. And then I'm gonna go ahead and step off. I've got one just in gear. It looks like it's got a lot of propulsion right now, but it's actually not. And look at all the slack that I just took out of that. Now I ain't gotta come up here and crank down on this, and it's just really easy. Come over here, connect my safety chain once I get done. Everything's locked. Now I've seen people forget about this a lot, and this is very important. You gotta get back in the boat, you gotta cut your motors off, and you gotta trim up. You don't wanna drag that skeg all the way up the ramp in any boat. I'm gonna take my one out of gear, it's in neutral again. Motors are going off. Trimming up. Done. Hopefully this summer with these few tips, it'll get you a little bit more confident. You can come out here during the week like this, or maybe on an afternoon when it's not as busy, and you can practice these few steps to master the craft of loading and unloading your boat by yourself. Thanks for tuning into this video, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.